Hi, I'm here now with Shauna Matkovich. Shauna is the sustainability manager for a company called the International Woodland Company. Shauna was just in the Dragon's Den making a pitch for an interesting new fund that is called the Renewable Climate Fund, IWC's Renewable Climate Fund. So, Shauna, could you tell us a little bit about this fund?
Sure. So this is a fund that will invest, it's a $150 million fund, and it's for 15 years, and it will invest into early forest value chain projects in sub-Saharan Africa. And it's a bit different because it will combine, it has a blended finance structure, which will combine traditional equity commercial investment together with a payment for environmental services in terms of CO2 that is sequestered by the plantation, and a separate forest landscape restoration facility to finance other land uses within the model. So we've developed this approach because we believe it is the best way to both address the risks associated with forest establishment in sub-Saharan Africa and reduce the costs, both of which we see as necessary to provide the returns and the risk mitigation that is necessary to attract private capital to such a structure.
Up until now, then, what have been some of the obstacles that you've been finding? What has been the feeling of the large investors that whose portfolios you are managing at IWC? What has been their attitude towards investing up until now in sub-Saharan African reforestation projects?
So I'll speak to the fund that my team manages across emerging geographies. And this fund was established 2007, before the financial crisis, where there were a lot of opportunities. People saw this emerging market as a way to be a first mover in forest investments. So our clients were seeing a lot of opportunity there. Of course, then the crisis hit and everyone's optimism adjusted a little bit. And now we're seeing a lot of risk aversion from investors who are happier to go into markets where the returns are much lower, but they feel a bit more secure that those low returns are going to be delivered. So we come from it now we're closing in on the end of our fund and of that first fund. And we still see strong market fundamentals there, a strong investment opportunity. But how can we change the mind of those investors? How can we reduce those risks? How can we boost those returns so that they will find this strategy attractive, and that we can get them both involved in solving one of the biggest challenges that the continent has, but also expose them to this investment opportunity? And how can we turn that opportunity into reality in terms of giving those returns to them?
I guess one of the issues that you're dealing with is that maybe you're seeing that investors are also looking for a sort of a shorter term return, so that when it comes to planting trees, we don't often see the fruit of all of that for several years. Is that something that the sort of investors that you deal with, or that have a problem with the fact that it's the life of the tree that needs to be respected, and that for them that's just a bit too long? Is that part of the problem here?
Yeah, so that is, of course, a challenge. I would say most timberland investments, by nature of them, are long-term. But if there is a way that you can kind of shorten their exposure to the financial risks, then that is all the better. So brownfield investment opportunities tend to be more attractive because you're going to have earlier cash flows. You might come in when you're already harvesting timber. So this is, of course, much more attractive to a financial investor. This does not solve the problem of long-term wood supply. So if you have a finite amount of plantations that are established and you're not planting more trees, then there's only so far that these forests can go. And so we have to come up with an innovative way to ease the long-term cash flow scenarios of these types of investments. And we believe that the new structure that we've set up with the IWC Renewable Climate Fund addresses this.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much for telling us about it, Shauna, and taking the time to chat with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.